Alright, so now let's take a look at how the MACD indicator works. And as you guys can see, now we have the full MACD indicator on the screen. And the MACD consists of three parts. First, we have the MACD line, which is this blue line right here. When you use the MACD in TradingView, the standard color for the MACD line will be blue. The next part of the indicator is the signal line. And the signal line is this orange line right here. And last but not least, we have the histograms. And as you guys already know, the histograms are the valleys and mountains here on the MACD indicator. But where does the MACD line, signal line, and histogram actually come from? Well, let's begin here by the MACD line. The MACD line is calculated by taking a short-term moving average minus a longer-term moving average. And the standard settings is to take an exponential moving average, or in other words, EMA, based on 12 periods, minus an exponential moving average based on 26 periods. And by the way, guys, if you want to learn more about moving averages in general, I actually have a full 1 hour long course about moving averages. So I highly recommend to watch that video when you are done with this MACD course. But what about the orange line, the signal line? Well, the signal line is calculated by taking a simple moving average, or in other words, an SMA of the MACD line itself. So SMA 9 basically means simple moving average based on 9 periods. And because the signal line is a moving average of the MACD line, we will actually get a very important property. And that is, as long as the MACD line is above the signal line will go up. And as long as the MACD line is below the signal line, you can see that the signal line will go down. So that means that when the MACD line crosses the signal line from below, this is the point where the signal line starts to rise. And when the MACD line crosses the signal line from above, this is the point where the signal line starts to fall. And using these kind of crossovers, like right here and right here, is actually a pretty common MACD trading strategy. And we will of course talk about that later on in the course. But now then, what are the histograms? Well, the histograms are basically the distance between the MACD line and the signal line. So if you take a look at this part of the MACD right here, you can see that when the MACD line is below the signal line, the distance in between these two lines will create the histogram valley right here. But when the MACD line is above the signal line, like this whole part right here, you will see that a mountain will be created based on this distance. Same thing is true right here. Once again, we have the MACD line below the signal line, and the distance creates this whole valley. But now, there's one thing we still haven't talked about, and this can be a bit more complicated. What does it mean when the blue line crosses the line here in the middle, or in other words, what we call the zero line? So now let's dive deeper here and take a look at the MACD zero line. And this can be a little bit more advanced, so make sure to really pay attention now. But the first thing is pretty simple. The zero line is basically the line here in the middle, which separates the valleys and the mountains of the MACD indicator. But in order to understand what it means when the MACD crosses above or below this line, we need to open up a chart here. Alright guys, so now we are in TradingView. This is the site I use to find all the different price charts, and it's in TradingView I do all my technical analysis. And I know that most of you guys are already familiar with TradingView, but if you guys for some reason haven't got started with TradingView yet, I actually have a special link that you can use to try out TradingView Premium for 30 days for free. And if you after the 30-day trial decide that you want to upgrade, you will get a $15 bonus. So if you want to try out TradingView and at the same time supporting the channel, don't hesitate to use the link. It will be both in the description and the top comment of this video. But alright, so right now as we're speaking, I'm looking at Bitcoin on a daily time frame. So every candlestick on this chart represents 1 day. And the first thing I want to do here is that I want to open up the MACD indicator. So to do that, we go up here to the indicators tab in TradingView. And what we want to search for here is simply MACD. And you want to go down here and open up the indicator called Moving Average Convergence Divergence. And in order to show you guys how the zero line works, we actually need to change a few settings. So we go down to the settings tab of the MACD indicator. And for now, I actually want to uncheck the histograms. So I don't want to show you guys the histograms, and I want to uncheck the signal line as well. Then I want to go here to the MACD line and make it a bit thicker here so that you guys can see more clearly. And now we are ready to press OK here. So as you can see, now we have a MACD indicator with only the MACD line showing. And now actually to make the zero line a bit more clear here, I want to change the zero line to a straight line, and I want to make the opacity like this and make the zero line black so you can clearly see the zero line, and press OK. So now we have the MACD line and we have a clear zero line. And now let's remember here what the MACD line actually is. The MACD line is a 12 period EMA minus a 26 period EMA. So what we want to do now is that we want to open up two exponential moving averages. So we search for moving average exponential, we open up one, and we want to open up another one. And now we want to go up to the settings here. So we change the first EMA, we go to inputs here, and we change the length to 12. We can also change the style here to make it a bit more clear. Let's make it, for example, purple, and we can also make it a bit bigger. Okay, now we go to the second EMA, and remember the second EMA is 26. So we change it to 26 right here. We can also change the style to make it a bit more clear. Let's change it to orange and make it a bit bigger like this, and press OK. So now we have two EMAs on the chart, and we also have the MACD line here in the bottom. And remember, the MACD line is calculated based on these two moving averages. And when we have all this on the chart, we can finally understand what the zero line means. So what you will notice if you take a look at this point right here, you can see this is the point where the MACD line crosses the zero line. And what happens at this exact point? Well, you can see that it is on this point, the purple line actually crosses the orange line, or in other words, it is at this point, the EMA 12 crosses the EMA 26. So as long as the EMA 12 is above the EMA 26, you will see that the MACD line will be above the zero line, right? So when the shorter moving average is above the longer moving average, the MACD line is above the zero line. And the same thing is true for the opposite scenario. As you can see, when the EMA 12 crosses below the EMA 26, this is the exact point where the MACD line crosses below the signal line. And I think that by simply understanding this, you will probably have a better understanding than most traders how the MACD indicator actually works. This video was just a short clip from our full MACD indicator course. To watch the full course, simply click or tap on the screen right here. I hope to see you guys over there very soon.